Hey everybody, welcome here on a wonderful Wednesday afternoon to Series E Apex Legends. We're keeping things rolling here in Season 6 as 2023 continues. My name is Yeso, back to be your host once again. I hope you're all excited for some fun Apex Legends action here tonight. Do want to break things down though as we jump into things on how Series E works so everybody here is on the same page, whether you're a longtime watcher or brand new fellow joining us here on the show. So let's jump into it really fast. Okay, Series E is a professional esports open circuit that absolutely anyone can join across multiple different titles, okay? We've got Multiverses, we've got Guilty Gear Strive, and of course Apex Legends. Now, the way things work is players and teams come out, they play in open qualifiers, and the best of the best make it into Series E. Now, what does that mean for them? Well, players will get the opportunity to sign a contract, they'll get signed by one of our partner brands, they'll earn a monthly salary, and get to compete weekly for points and prize money. In Apex Legends, they'll play every single Wednesday night against some of the best talent in the Apex scene from all across North America. So, if you have any further questions, you're looking for more information, you want to see how you can get involved, make sure to head over to esportsarena.com today and check it out over there. It'll have answers to all of your questions and more. Now, as we turn our attention here to tonight, of course, the partnered squad's still trying to figure things out this season. Of course, without open nights, the competition is stiffer this season. You are always playing against very tough competition every single Wednesday, and that is your only opportunity to accrue points. So the teams have rightfully struggled a little bit early, looking to get their feet under them. If we look back towards last week's competition, of course, you may remember things were a little wild and wacky with the latest update coming out, but we were able to run 4 games last Wednesday night, and of course, that was when we saw the dominance of Luminosity. They were incredible across those 4 games and were our top finisher last Wednesday night. We'll have to see if they are back here tonight, because of course that is a team that a lot of people have eyes on going into London here at the end of this month. So looking forward to seeing what they continue to do within and without of Series E, but of course the eyeballs will be very much on which one of our partner squads could really have that first standout performance here this season. A lot of these teams have yet to really separate themselves from the pack, but every single Wednesday night is an opportunity for them to change the storylines here and really put themselves at the forefront of Series E, and of course continue to hone their skills against very talented players here in the scene. So very much looking forward to seeing who comes out on top on that front. If I'm having to take a pick, I'm keeping my eye on definitely Team Aegon by AOC. They've had some really okay performances so far, Again, across the board, the partner teams have struggled, but I've seen some really good signs of life from Aegon by AOC, and I'm hoping that they can build off of that here today. So definitely keep an eye on them. But let's not waste any further time, folks. We've got 6 games of Apex Legends ahead of us here tonight, and I've got a couple of friends on the cast that will be bringing you all the fun. And of course, I'll be here to check out highlights and break things down in between the games. But let's not waste any further time and get right into some Series E Apex Legends.
Big Matt Pickett vibes from back in early seasons of Series E. Now Slepon taking a lot of damage, and I mean,
the shots are starting to connect with what he does, and they're going down Sung, making the thing sang right there.
As he hopped back on with Nerf. Nerf looking like they want to close in another fight. Forcey with the shots, and goodbye to
so this doorway and those windows, and they should be able to fight it out. Meanwhile, Intel getting into another battle, clear way across the map. Intel breaking.
Mike and Ike are getting aggressive. They got the first knock. Actually, Z Davis once again with that charge rifle, but Bronzy.
No, Eccentric from above as well. So
you see what Eccentric's up to. They're making the flank on down below. Touch E1, play down coming through. Now it's a 2-on-2 situation. Maybe a 2-on-1. It is a 2-on-1.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Series E. I gotta thank Yeso for the introduction, as he was looking oh so relaxed, laying back in the chair. But here, T-Squared, we get to play a little bit with relaxation, but really, once we get into game, it is just seemingly back-to-back action for the last couple of weeks. Before we do that, let's take a moment, break down what we're going to be seeing today. It's going to be 6 games of Apex Legends, 3 of them going to be taking place on World's Edge, and the other 3 on Storm Point. You want to break down the points for me, T-Square?
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here. Happy to see you next to me, dear. You know what would make Yeso a little bit more relaxed, though?
What?
A beanie.
Yes.
You know? Where's his beanie? We need an esports arena beanie immediately. But let's get back to the action, all right? We're here because it's the Pro Night. You know what it is. You've most likely seen Series E for a handful of different games. This is the best time to watch some Apex. We're 2 weeks away from the ALGS playoffs in London. These teams are getting prepared right now. We had recent updates that happened. Horizon's back and fixed. The new split on Olympus is going to be there. But it's all about tonight and these 20 teams that are going to be competing. $2,000 up for grabs, and these are the teams on your screen.
Yeah, it's important to take note. You know, you're going to have some returning faces. Of course, our partnered squads are the ones to really keep your eyes on in terms of their consistency throughout the season. But even now, some teams are swapping up their rosters, trying things out as different players take breaks on some days. As, like you mentioned, T-Squared, today's games are really coming in the middle of what is a ramping up section of the year, and it's so early on as well. It's our 6th Pro Night here in Season 6 today, but just tomorrow we've got Oversight playoffs going down, like you talked about, playoffs for international Apex Legends happening in such a short time frame that really what we're seeing here today can still certainly be called, I think on everyone's count, even the pro teams, a ramping up, an experimentation, a what is working for us that separates us from every other squad.
That's a great point, especially with the Oversight tournament that's going to be taking place. Taking a look, you got SSG coming in with Frex Design filling in right there and then dropped. I'm excited to see what this ESA team's going to do. We got DZ in here. Their full roster is going to be popping off. CLG, a lot of heavy hitters coming through. But don't forget about our partnered squads. We got Esports Arena again. Aegon by AOC turns his back. He took a little bit of a break, but he's back, and he is such a big part of this team. To see him involved is going to be great today. Team Intel, love what they're able to do. Mike and Ike, up-and-coming team, and you know MJ is going to be popping off. Razor's been looking a little bit better too, and then Team Tyson. That wraps up our partnered squads, and like you mentioned, we are pretty far into this season. It's kind of flown by, but again, it's all about practice. It's all about getting your squad ready for tonight. Also, Nasky and his squad. We got a little mix of EU and NA today, and that's always a good battle between the two regions.
We've even got some South America thrown in there. Leave no witnesses all the way to what I think should be the right of your screens, because it's the right of mine. We're 5th place coming out of the Pro League in South America, and they're going to be heading to LAN in London in like we keep saying, just a few short weeks. So I'm really curious about their performance today. I know scrims have been a little tough on them, and as those results keep coming out, I feel like it's at the best of times they in esports arena that are really in the mix. We've got a lot of great up-and-coming, like you talked about, North American talent today, though, that's really going to test the limits of this squad and the regional strength therein. I want to bring it back to CLG, a squad that you highlighted earlier, specifically with their shift here, playing with Abroleli today. Something that has increasingly been, I think, a point of focus among the competitive Discords, Reddits, what call you.
Really always fun to watch. One of my favorite players, and it's going to continue to be one of my favorite players of all time. I mean, so we see Buff Pathfinder in there. We have to, whenever you think about Abroleli, just think about Pathfinder in general. The dude was an absolute monster on that. I'm also excited to see how GS Bird, Boney Tony do, and Sleepy Panda. That's a pretty underrated roster. You got Hockey's, like you said, coming in with this Nasky team too, and it's a very kind of thrown together type of teams here, but it's all skilled players. We have maybe like 4 or 5 thrown together rosters, but we've seen these teams do really well in the past, and even these EU teams have come through and won in NA lobbies. So don't count anybody out. I think that the first couple games are going to be extremely important. It's all about how you finish, but you do want to set the pace and try to get a good chunk of your points in the first couple of maps.
Yeah, it is a very momentum-based game as always, and we'll have those few teams that really hit their stride on the second map, but whenever you get ahead in an individual game, it really is about accumulating that momentum that we talked about and turning it into a great position, turning that into more kills, and continuing to cash in. When you're on a roll, you've got to keep it going, and that's something that I think specifically defined one of our partner squads, Mike and Ike, just last season. I've actually been surprised by their performance if we think of just last week, where they ended up finishing in 14th, a very different sort of game, or 6 games in this case, from them just 7 days ago. And while I know that we had the new year, new me, I am hoping that for Mike and Ike, that last week proves to be more of an exception than the rule.
And that's why we play week after week, and that's why we play so many games throughout the season. And keep in mind that Mike and Ike starts off fairly slow. They picked up a lot of momentum in Season 5, and then they popped off. Maybe they just need to get a feel for the lobby. Every lobby is different too, which makes it very, very exciting. But I got a lot of faith in this squad. I think that Silent and Wizard have been really picking up their game. MJ continues to improve. But I really do like that mention of CLG and Abroleli coming in on there. They've ran a lot of unorthodox compositions. I think that they're trying to figure out what their play style is going to be. But you have one of the best shot callers, you have one of the best slayers on your team. So it's just a matter of trusting each other and going with the amount of knowledge that they have in the past. There's really nothing to be worried about. Again, come out, set the pace early. Every lobby is going to be different. I want to see what type of legends are going to be picked. We know that the meta is constantly changing, but we really think that, again, Valkyrie, very strong still. Horizon, very strong. Seer, we're seeing a lot more Cryptos coming through, a lot more Bangalores as well.
Yeah, Bangalore has really been the legend that just makes me a little bit upset playing ranked this past season. Playing up against Bangalore at close range is something that I've even seen translated from my very own ranked lobbies onto the professional and semi-professional stages in both Challenger Circuit and ALGS, where squads that like to play aggressive, that really like to get up in your face, have been opting into this Bangalore Bloodhound Power Season 1 combination. And while we've had some teams divert into that, I think it bears mentioning that teams like Luminosity Gaming, who finished first in last week's games here at Series E, have gone in the complete opposite direction. They're picking up Gibraltar again.
Again, it's kind of weird to see Gibby fall out of style because he was almost 100% pick rate. So why would you switch up something that was so successful for so long? Once they saw that Maggie's ball was going to stop the Gibby bubble, it was a big shift in what was happening, but no one's really playing Maggie. Realistically, the only person we've been seeing playing Maggie recently is actually Abroleli, who we were talking about beforehand. So I like the Gibby pick. I still think that Gibby's very strong. He's extremely viable, and if you're comfortable using him, then why not continue to do so?
Yeah, we've got a lot of Legend diversity right now, given the balance changes that you keep talking about, and the way that that can influence our games, not just here, but and the larger Apex stage as a whole. We've got all those questions. What we're looking for is answers, T-Squared, and where we'll find those is in our very first games that we're going to find in just a few moments after we take a short break.